Well, it's the middle of winter and I'm about to do some serious pruning. So before I start, I thought I would do the sharpening of the tools, which is a really important thing. If you're going to do it needs to be done regularly, so you need to have some kind of something that will force you to think you remember to do it. So I'm here, it's the middle of winter, I'm just about to do the roses. So I thought, okay, before I start, I'll really sharpen up the tools. It makes it a lot better, easier to cut, a bit less dangerous as well, because if it's blunt you can really be struggling with something and push really hard on it and slip, whereas if it's really sharp you just make a nice clean cut, better for you and better for the plants. Alright, the first question is, what are you sharpening? Okay, there are two sides to one of these things. This is a fixed angle that you don't touch that side much, or just a little brush up. It's this side here that you're sharpening. So of this blade here, there are two sides. One side, can you see that very shiny thing all the way along that edge there? That's a little beveled edge. So it comes across pretty flat, and then it's got this angle. That's the cutting edge. On the other side, it's totally flat. So here, there is no bevel on that edge, and it's designed to be flat because as it passes through there, those two edges have to cover each other up totally. So this side here, don't touch. It needs to be flat, absolutely just a flat surface. It's been machined like that in the factory, so you don't have to touch that. This side here, just with that very tiny little angle there, that's the part that you're sharpening. And it's only that little angle there that you're sharpening. It was machined there when it came out of the factory, and as you cut stuff it just bluntens up that edge there. So that is the edge that we're sharpening there. So nothing else needs to be touched. That doesn't need to be touched. This backside doesn't need to be touched. Just that little edge across there. Alright, this is my sharpening tool. This one here has sort of diamond dust, I believe, on this side here, and on that side here it's got nothing. So again, this is the side that you use for sharpening. That's just a really hard surface, and we're going to rub across that blade there. Angles are important here. For something really sharp like this, you don't want to pass your file at a 90-degree angle. You want it at a very sharp angle, so maybe 20 degrees, 20 or 30 degrees, so at that kind of an angle, not 45, definitely not 90, 30 is what, 25, 20, 30 is what we're looking for here. And you just pass it back and forth like that. It's pretty easy once you get into it. Now notice I'm only dragging it down in one direction there. That's because you want that angle to be really nice. You don't want to be pushing it back and forth like up and down like that. I'm only dragging down, up, down, down, down. And this is actually pretty easy to sort of see whether it's working or not. You can actually see that edge really start to shine in the sun, and the parts that you've done will be super clean because you're really bringing it down to that raw metal. For a little sharpen like this, that's possibly enough. I'm just making sure it's sharp before I start an important job. Now, I said you didn't touch the other side. At this point you just run one of these edges that also has stuff on it. You just run it across there to make sure that any of the filings that they've been cleared off. And we're good. That's sharp, ready to go. Okay, the other maintenance you can do is with a little bit of steel wool. stuff just gathers on here, sap, rust, all sorts of things, so really just to stop it from building up, you can give that this side, well, it's just for general maintenance, just so that this rust doesn't build up there. This side is pretty important because, as I said, this side needs to be totally flat. So remember, that was the edge that I sharpened just now. This edge here didn't get any sharpening, but it does. This cleaning is pretty important because you don't want anything there to disrupt the flow of the blades. And you certainly don't want sap and things building up there. Also, you don't want it to rust, and so these things, sometimes rust can just start there. Once you've done that, I usually just give it a bit of a spray with a water dispersant spray, WD something, and just in those edges there, keep it nice and free moving. We're ready to prune.